Welcome student. The next concept in the ecosystem is decomposition. What is the decomposition process that we have to study in detail here? Decomposition means breaking of complex matter by decomposers into inorganic substances like CO2, water, nutrients like that. Some microorganisms are called decomposers like saprotrophs, like fungi, bacteria. These are called the microorganism which will do the process called decomposition. Means wherever there will be falling leaves, wherever there will be waste material of animal. See, this is the picture which is showing waste material of the animal. These are the leaves. So these leaves, waste material, all will undergo the process called decomposition. What is decomposition andra illenide andra nodri ಈ ಸಸ್ಯದ ಎಲೆಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಆನಿಮಲ್ದ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾವಂದ್ರೆ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಜೀವಿಗಳಿಂದ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಫಂಗೈ ಇವುಗಳಿಂದ ಡಿಕಾಂಪೋಸ್ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಕಾಂಪೋಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. ಯಾವ ಇನ್ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್? CO2, ವಾಟರ್ ಮತ್ತು ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಕಾಂಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಡಿಕಾಂಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಡಿಕಾಂಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ? ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಬೇಕು. ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ. ಸಿ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಡಿಕಾಂಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಸ್ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ಲಿ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್. ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ವಿಚ್ ಡಿಕಾಂಪೋಸಸ್ ದ ಡೆಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ or waste matter which are aerobic. Which are aerobic means they want oxygen for the breakdown of this waste material, that is leaves as well as animal waste, all will get decomposed with the help of oxygen, and the microorganism will destroy by taking oxygen. Which microorganism? Aerobic microorganism. So those are doing the process called decomposition. Decomposition is carried out by microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, etc. Those are called microorganisms which will perform the process called decomposition. Okay. So what is this? This is animal waste. Animal waste. These are dead leaves of plants. Remember. So these animal waste, dead leaves are the raw material for the decomposition, and whatever the raw material which is required for the decomposition process is called detritus. The substance which is undergoing decomposition is called detritus. Detritus may be waste leaves, animal waste, and died leaves, dry leaves of the plants, falling leaves, all are called detritus. That means that is the raw material which will undergo the process called decomposition. And which is the raw material which is undergoing decomposition? That is called detritus. So detritus contains dead plants remains, that is leaves, bark, flowers. This is the detritus. Animal waste, fecal matter, that is animal fecal matter means animal waste. Dead remains of animals, dead parts of the animals. All dead plant parts like leaves, bark, flowers, dead animal parts, animal waste like fecal matter, which we can refer as a detritus, that is undergoing the process called decomposition. And decomposition is carried out by microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, etc. And generally decomposers, most probably bacteria, fungi, are saprotrophs. Saprotrophs means what? Those organisms which are growing on dead and decaying matter, they are referred as saprotrophs. Okay. What are the steps involved in the process called decomposition? Decomposition involves 5 steps: fragmentation, leaching, catabolism, humidification, and mineralization. These are the steps which are generally involved in the process called decomposition. What is the first step? We can see here. What is the first step? Fragmentation. Waste of the plants, waste of the animal will undergo breakdown of detritus. Detritus means leaves, dead leaves, animal waste, animal waste. So these detritus or animal waste all will undergo breakdown into the smaller particles by detritivorous. What is a detritivorous animal? Earthworm. Earthworm is called detritivorous animal. Remember, earthworm organism which can decompose, which can break down the dead leaves, dead waste animals, animal waste, dead leaves, dry leaves, which is break down initially by the dead leaves and animal waste are called detritus, which is break down initially into smaller particles by detritivorous. What is a detritivorous? Earthworm is a detritivorous animal, and that will do the process called as fragmentation process. What is the process? We can call it is fragmentation process. Okay. Next, that animal is called detritivorous, which will perform the process called fragmentation. Next process is the leaching process. What is leaching? See, I said in the fragmentation process, smaller particles. What are the smaller particles? Larger waste material of the animal, waste leaves, break down into smaller particles means that is nutrients, which is break down into the nutrients. And remember, these nutrients are how? These nutrients are water soluble inorganic nutrients. Remember, these nutrients are water soluble inorganic nutrients. Water soluble inorganic nutrients. So smaller particles, whatever form, those are called water soluble inorganic nutrients, which will undergo the second step called leaching. So water soluble inorganic nutrients, after fragmentation, the water soluble inorganic nutrient is formed. That water soluble inorganic nutrient goes deep into the soil horizon. After fragmentation, the smaller particles, those are water soluble inorganic material, goes deeper into the soil particles, and there it will precipitate it. See, these are white patches you are looking here. These are the what we can say unavailable salts, which are forming as a unavailable salts. Okay, this process is called leaching. Inorganic nutrients goes deep down into the soil horizon, and where it is precipitated and unavailable salts it is forming, the process called leaching. What is next process is a catabolism. Catabolism means what? Catabolism means degradation of detritus into simple inorganic substances by bacterial and fungal enzymes. Remember, with the help of bacteria and fungi enzymes, the detritus is break down into smaller inorganic substance. Detritus is break down into smaller inorganic substance by bacterial and fungal action. That process is called catabolism. And you note that one point here: fragmentation, leaching and catabolism. These three steps of decomposition occurs simultaneously. These three steps of decomposition occurs what? Simultaneously. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಡೆಟ್ರೈಟಸ್ ಇದ್ದಿಂದ ಇನಾರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆಗೋದು ಫಂಗೈ ಮತ್ತು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಎಂಜೈಮ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ನಿಂದ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರು ಕ್ಯಾಟಬೋಲಿಸಮ್. ಕ್ಯಾಟಬೋಲಿಸಮ್ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಈಗ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು, ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್, ಲೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ಯಾಟಬೋಲಿಸಮ್ ಮೂರು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ಗಳು ಸೈಮಲ್ಟೇನಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಕಾಂಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಆಗೋ ಮುಂದೆ ನಡೀತಿರ್ತಾವ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ನಾನು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಟ್ರೈಟಸ್ ಇದ್ದಿಂದ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಲೀಚಿಂಗ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಡೆಟ್ರೈಟಸ್ ಇದ್ದಿಂದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಇನ್ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇಂದೆ ಆ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಇನ್ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ದ ಡೀಪ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಲೇಯರ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಇನ್ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಪಿಟೇಟ್ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತು ಲೀಚಿಂಗ್ದಲ್ಲಿ. ಕ್ಯಾಟಬೋಲಿಸಮ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೆಟ್ರೈಟಸ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಇನ್ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಫಂಗೈ ಮತ್ತು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಎಂಜೈಮ್ನಿಂದ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಕ್ಯಾಟಬೋಲಿಸಮ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಮೂರು ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ಗಳು, ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್, ಲೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ಯಾಟಬೋಲಿಸಮ್, ಮೂರು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಸೈಮಲ್ಟೇನಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾವ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಹ್ಯೂಮಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮಸ್ ಕಾಣ್ತದೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇದು humus, dark amorphous substance ತಯಾರಾಗ್ತದೆ in the soil. The accumulation of dark amorphous substance in the soil, which is called humus. Humus is resistance to microbial action and also decomposes very slowly. It is very resistant to microbial action and decomposition rate of the humus is very slow. Its nature is a colloidal and serve as a reservoir of nutrients to the plants. Generally, we can add humus. As you are observing humus, in this humus rich nutrients are present, and that nutrients are helpful for the proper growth of the plants. That nutrients are very useful for the proper growth of the plants. And remember, on the humus no microorganism is acting and it decomposes very slowly. Humus is decomposes very slowly. Okay, this is called as what we can say the process called as humidification process. Humidification, mineralization occur during decomposition in the soil. Humidification and mineralization occurs during decomposition in the soil. So what is the mineralization? It is the release of inorganic substance due to degradation of humus by microbes. So humus, whatever formed, on the humus some microorganisms are acting and those microorganisms form inorganic nutrients from the humus, and that process is called mineralization. That process is called mineralization. That means inorganic nutrient degraded. See, inorganic nutrients are formed by degradation of humus by action of certain microorganism or some microorganisms. That exact process is called mineralization process. That exact process is called mineralization process. So these are the 5 steps which are present in the process called as decomposition. Among the 5 steps, fragmentation, leaching and catabolism simultaneously happens. After humidification, then mineralization happens. This is what. See, observe here, diagrammatic representation of decomposition cycle of terrestrial ecosystem. See, these are the fallen leaves. Here, the leaves are fall from the leaves are formed from the trees, and these leaves are eaten by insect or other animals, and nutrients and energy transfer into food chain. Remember, so these green leaves fall on the grounds, and some of the insects will start eating these leaves. After eating that leaves, those insects are eaten by some other animals, which nutrients will get transferred into that food chain. So after that, whatever the remaining part of the leaf, which is eaten by the earthworm first, and then earthworm break down this into the organic rich into the soil. In the soil, it is what is the process called decomposition happens here, and even decomposition is carried out by fungi also. So this is the mushroom fungi, which is also doing the process called as decomposition here. So mushroom also decomposes. In turn, this is also eaten by the earthworm, bacteria, some soil microbes. Again into the soil, the nutrients will form. And those nutrients, generally here inorganic nutrients, remember, inorganic rich soil. So those inorganic nutrients again available for the plants for the absorption. In this way, what is the process happen is called as decomposition process, we can call it is. Fallen leaves, on that some insects are eating, and from the insect, you know that on the insect some birds are living, on birds some other larger birds are like that. This is the some of the insects will eat the leaves, and fallen leaves further eaten by this detritivores, which is the detritivores earthworm, and break down into inorganic nutrients or inorganic nutrient in the soil. Not only earthworm can doing this decomposition, mushroom fungi also doing the decomposition, which in turn further decomposed by earthworm, and again inorganic nutrient return into the soil, and that inorganic nutrients are available for the plants. So this is the diagrammatic representation of a process called as a decomposition, and earthworm is called detritivorous animal, which is responsible for decomposition process. Okay. say what are the factors affecting on the process called as decomposition. Wherever in any detritus means the substance which undergoing the decomposition, if that detritus which is having lignin and chitin rich, the decomposition rate is very slow. Remember, any leaf of the plant, leaf, or you can say animal waste, we can call it as a detritus. If that leaf of the plant or waste detritus is rich in lignin or rich in chitin, then rate of decomposition is very slow. If that having a chemical called chitin and lignin in the detritus. Detritus means a substance which undergoing the decomposition. If that is rich in lignin and chitin, the rate of decomposition is very slow. It is quicker if detritus contains nitrogen and water soluble substance like sugar. If a detritus which contains nitrogen and sugar, then rate of decomposition is very slow. So these are called chemical factors which are affecting on the rate of decomposition process. Now climatic factors. Temperature and soil are the climatic factors. Warm and moist environment good for the decomposition process. Warm and moist environment is good for the decomposition process. Low temperature and anaerobiosis inhibit the decomposition. At low temperature, no decomposition is there. Anaerobiosis means there is no availability of oxygen. In oxygen unavailability, decomposers are not working properly. Because in the decomposition, aerobic microorganisms are playing role. Oxygen is very, very important for the decomposition process. If anaerobic condition is there, that means absence of oxygen. If absence of oxygen is there, that means anaerobiosis. The decomposition stops. At low temperature, decomposition stops. So these are the climatic factors which are responsible for the process called as decomposition. Okay. Next concept we have to study. What is the concept name is called energy flow in the ecosystem. Energy flow in the ecosystem we have to study. You know, everybody knows that except hydrothermal ecosystem, deep hydrothermal ecosystem, where the sunlight is not reaching, all the organism in the ecosystem, what is the source of energy for them? Sun is the source of energy, except deep hydrothermal ecosystem where the sunlight is not reaching. All organism, what is the ultimate source of energy for all organism? Is the sun. Say of incident solar radiation, whatever the falling light is there, that falling light we can call as a incident light radiation. Less than 50% of radiation is a PAR. What is PAR? Photosynthetically active radiation. How much photosynthetically active radiation? Less than 50% is the photosynthetically active radiation we can call it is of incident solar radiation. Plants and photosynthetic chemosynthetic bacteria, what they will do? Fix solar energy. Plants and chemosynthetic autotrophs. You know, chemosynthetic autotrophs are green sulfur bacteria, purple sulfur bacteria. These are called chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria. So what we can say, some cyanobacteria are chemosynthetic bacteria. Photosynthetic some bacteria are there. Photosynthetic, what I wanted to tell here, photosynthetic bacteria are green purple bacteria, sulfur bacteria. These are called photosynthetic bacteria, and chemosynthetic bacteria are cyanobacteria is a chemosynthetic bacteria. Even cyanobacteria is a photosynthetic. Cyanobacteria is a photosynthetic. Chemosynthetic are iron bacteria, hydrogen bacteria are chemosynthetic. Nitrogen bacteria, nitrogen fixing bacteria are chemosynthetic bacteria. Green sulfur bacteria, chlorobium, and sulfur pulper bacteria, chromacium. Like that, these are the bacteria. Green sulfur bacteria and sulfur purple bacteria. like that. These are photosynthetic bacteria, and chemosynthetic bacteria are cyanobacteria. Sorry, cyanobacteria is not a chemosynthetic, it is a photosynthetic. Chemosynthetic bacteria are nitrogen bacteria, hydrogen bacteria, iron bacteria, like that. All are autotrophs. What these bacteria and plants are doing, fix solar energy and do the photosynthesis process and make the food. Fix solar energy into food. Plants capture how much of power? 2 to 10% of the power, photosynthetic active radiation. Only 2 to 10% of the power plants can capture the light energy and perform the photosynthesis and sustain the entire living world. Entire living world can sustain this much percentage of light plants can utilize for the process called as photosynthesis. Ecosystem obeys second law of thermodynamics. What is second law of thermodynamics? Energy neither created nor destroyed, but it can transfer from one form to the another form. So ecosystem obeys same law, second law of thermodynamics. There is a constant supply of sunlight energy to the plants. Remember, constant supply of sunlight energy to the plants to synthesize what? To synthesize food molecule. When constant supply of energy, sunlight energy to the plants to synthesize the food molecule, it helps to counteract the entropy. It helps to counteract the entropy. That means ecosystem follow which law? Second law of thermodynamics. Means whatever energy from the sunlight, radiant energy is transferred into the plants. Radiant energy is converted into chemical energy, and chemical energy which is transferred into the food chain. So that means energy, it is taken from the sun and converted into chemical energy transfer from one form to the another form. Like that. See, the energy conversion happens. That means it is obeying second law of thermodynamics, we can call it. Okay, now we have to learn here. In the ecosystem, remember, again I am telling you, it never exempt this what I said. Further, ecosystem not exempt the second law of thermodynamics. That means it is obeying second law of thermodynamics, we can call it. It is obeying second law of thermodynamics. That means it needs constant supply of energy. And what I explained here, a little bit sorry to you. First law also, remember what is the first law is telling here. First law of thermodynamics, what is telling? Energy neither created nor destroyed, transferred from one form to another form. That is the first law. It is ecosystem also obeying the second law of thermodynamics also. Okay. So what are the producers? Producers are autotrophs. Producers are what? Autotrophs. They are the organisms that synthesize the food. Producers are what? Autotrophs. They synthesize their food by a process called photosynthesis. These are the plants. We can call them as a producers, and which are performing the process called photosynthesis. In terrestrial ecosystem, which are the main producers? Herbaceous and woody plants. On the land ecosystem, herbaceous plants means grasses and woody plants are the terrestrial ecosystem producers, we can say. Primary producers in aquatic ecosystem, phytoplanktons, algae and higher plants. Primary producers in aquatic ecosystem, phytoplankton, microscopic plants, what we can say them are called as a diatoms. Diatoms are called phytoplanktons. Okay, algae and higher plants, those are producers in aquatic ecosystem. See, energy trapped by whatever these producers, sunlight energy is trapped by these producers, and this energy is passed to the consumers, and then that later dies or will transfer to the consumers, primary, secondary, tertiary, like that different levels of consumers, the energy going to be transferred, that is called as flow of energy. Okay, this is regarding producers. What are consumers? Consumers are heterotrophs. Yesterday only I told you, micro consumers and macro, these are the macro consumers. On producers, primary consumers are depends directly on the plant. Suppose they are referred as herbivorous. Herbivorous, what are those? Insects, birds, mammals, molluscans are called herbivorous. They are primary consumers. On the primary consumers, secondary consumers are living. Those are called primary carnivorous also. Those are called primary carnivorous also. So those are nothing but frog, fox, man, etc. are called primary, secondary consumers or primary carnivorous. Carnivorous means you know that those animals which are eating on the flesh, they are called carnivorous. And tertiary consumers, they depends on the primary carnivorous or secondary consumers. Primary carnivorous or secondary consumers, tiger, lion, etc. They are referred as the consumers. We can say tertiary consumers, we can call it. See, one food chain is given here. Example, grasses are the producers. Over the grass, grasshopper is eating. On the grass, secondary consumer, that is a frog, is eating. On the frog, snake is eating. And final consumer, that is hawk bird. And after the death of this, decomposers like fungi are acting over that, and again nutrients are available for the plant. So in this way, this is the food chain which is operating in the nature. So this is regarding the consumers, and one food chain example here given. So here there are the, we can call as a food chains are two types. Chain is the relationship between different organisms. Food chain is the relationship between different organisms. Look at this food chain, what we are, one organism depends on the other organism. There are two kinds of food chain, grazing food chain and detritus food chain. Grazing food chain and detritus food chain. What is meant by grazing food chain? GFC we can call it as. So primary consumers feeds on living plants here. Grasses are the producers here. Over the grasses, goat is eating. Over that, man is eating. Man is acting as a secondary consumer here. So this is example for grazing food chain, we can call it as. Grazing food chain. And the energy is going to pass from one, producers can synthesize the food, then energy goes to the goat, then energy goes to the man. So this is a grazing food chain. Another example, leaves, over the leaves caterpillar insects are eating. Over the caterpillar, birds, thrush bird is eating, like that. On the cabbage leaves, caterpillar insect, thrush bird. This is another example for the grazing food chain. Second food chain is called detritus food chain. That means here primary consumers feed on dead and decaying matter. If primary consumer feeds on plants, called as grazing food chain. If primary consumers feeds on dead and decaying matter, called as detritus food chain. So detritus food chain is begins when death of the organisms happens. Suppose these are the dead leaves. Over the dead leaves, woodlouse insect. This is one kind of insect, woodlouse. So woodlouse insects eat over that, and this woodlouse insect is eaten by the blackbird. So this kind of food chain we can call detritus food chain. We can call it is which kind of food chain? Detritus food chain, which starts from the dead bodies, dead leaves, dead plants, dead animals, like that. And primary consumers eating over the dead animals there. So that's why it is called detritus food chain. Detritus is made up of what? Detritus means a substance which is undergoing decomposition is called detritus. Here decomposers are there. Which are those? Fungi, bacteria, decomposers are there. What they will do while doing the decomposition process? They secrete certain enzymes and break down the detritus into simple inorganic material which is absorbed by them and get energy and nutrients. What is decomposition? You know that these are the mushrooms which are going on dead and decaying matter. These are the bacteria Pseudomonas which is growing on dead and decaying matter. Pseudomonas bacteria is the best decomposer, we can say. Mushroom fungi is also decomposer. Fruit will undergo the decomposition process by the fungi. Any fruit if you see, observe here, the fungal growth happens after certain time. So that is because of the process called as decomposition. So decomposition means detritus is made up of decomposers such as, which are the decomposers? Fungi, bacteria are the decomposers. They use certain digestive enzymes and that break down the substance, that is the detritus, break down into the inorganic substances. That is, we say, the decomposition process. Now what is the next point we have to learn here? In aquatic ecosystem, GFC means grazing food chain is a major conductor for flow of energy. In aquatic ecosystem, water ecosystem, grazing food chain is a major conductor of energy flow. But in terrestrial ecosystem, much amount of energy flows through DFC than the GFC. Detritus food chain is maximum on the terrestrial ecosystem, and energy flow happens through detritus food chain on the land. And on the what we say in a aquatic ecosystem, GFC is a major conductor of food. See, DFC is connected with GFC at certain levels. Means what? What is the meaning of this? Some organisms of detritus food chain are the prey for the GFC. Some organisms of detritus food chains are the prey for the GFC animals. Animals like cockroaches, crows, human, etc. are the omnivorous. Such interconnection of food chain is called food web. What is the meaning of this? DFC connected to the GFC at certain level means what? DFC animals or organisms are the prey for the GFC animals. Say for example here, what is meant by the GFC is the prey, DFC is the prey for the GFC. So here one diagram I will show you. This is say heats, autotrophs. These are the autotrophs, producers. Plant can prepare the food. And second consumers, that is herbivores, that is earthworm or cat larva, you can say earth larva, which is also, see, on that sparrow is eating over that, and over the sparrow big bird is eating, like the top carnivorous. This is the food chain. I said DFC organism is a prey for GFC. See, this is a grazing food chain, this is a grazing food chain, this is a GFC. Here this insect can do DFC also, decomposition also. So dead plants leaves are eaten by these insects, that is, this is the earthworm, we can say earthworm. So here this is the DFC animal. See, this is the DFC animal which is used in DFC also. This will do decomposition also, this larva will decomposition. This larva is the organism of DFC. Suppose it's the organism of DFC, detritus food chain, which is the prey for the grazing food chain. This is a food for the grazing food chain again. That means it is the actual part of which food chain? DFC. This is the DFC organism. Suppose we can consider this is the earthworm. This earthworm is the prey for the grazing food chain. That means the DFC is connected to GFC at certain levels. Earthworm is the coming in the grazing food chain. You see, detritus food chain. So it is the prey for the grazing food chain. So that's what I said. DFC is connected with GFC at certain levels. Animals like cockroach, crows, humans are omnivorous. Omnivorous means what? They are eating the flesh as well as vegetarian food. They are called omnivorous. See, frog is a one animal. See, frog is eating on what? Grasshopper. Grasshopper is eating on the grass, or that means on the corner plant. See, observe this food chain. What is meant by food web I am telling you. And this frog is the prey for, so even frog is also eating the butterfly, frog is also eating the fruit fly, frog is also eating the dragonfly. So this frog is a food for the python also, and this frog is a food for the eagle also. So this frog is food for the python also and food for the eagle also. Such interconnection of food chain is called food web. This is one kind of food chain. See, grasshopper is eaten by the rat, rat is eaten by the python snakes, python snake is eaten by the eagle. Again, grasshopper is eaten by the frog, frog is eaten by the snake, or snake is eaten by the eagle, or frog directly eaten by the eagle. Or rat is eaten by the wolf. Wolf, after that, see, wolf also eats the thrush bird here. This wolf also eats the, what we can say, the python, or we can say this eagle. That means one animal is eat this animal, and that animal again food for the different kinds of other organism in present in different food chains. Such interconnections we can call as a food chain. Such interconnections are called food chain. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇದು ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ಈ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ದಾಗೂ ಬರ್ತದ. ಈ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ 1 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ರ್ಯಾಟ, ಪೈಥಾನ, ಈಗಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ದಾಗೂ ಇದು ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ಬರ್ತದ. ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ಹೆಂಗ ಪೈಥಾನ್ ಈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಗೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಈಗಲ್ ಬರ್ಡು ತಿನ್ಬೋದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಥರ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೂಪರ್, ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ಮತ್ತು ಈಗಲ್ ಬರ್ಡ, ಅಥವಾ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೂಪರ್, ಫ್ರಾಗ್, ಸ್ನೇಕ್ ಮತ್ತು ಈಗಲ್ ಬರ್ಡ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೇ ಅನಿಮಲ್. ಈಗ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೂಪರ್ ರ್ಯಾಟ್ಗೂ ಫುಡ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೂಪರ್ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಗೂ ಫುಡ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ಈಗಲ್ ಬರ್ಡ್ಗೂ ಫುಡ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಪೈಥಾನ್ಗೂ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ರ್ಯಾಟ ಒಲ್ಫ್ಗೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ರ್ಯಾಟ ಪೈಥಾನ್ಗೂ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಹಿಂಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ಗಳು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇರೋದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಫುಡ್ ವೇಬ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಇಂಟರ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಫುಡ್ ವೇಬ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ ಇದೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ ಫ್ಲೈ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಫ್ಲೈ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಮತ್ತು ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪೈಥಾನ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಈಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ಗಳು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೋ ಫುಡ್ ವೆಬ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್, ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ದ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಲೆವೆಲ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೋ ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್, ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್, ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟರ್ಷರಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತವೆ, ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಬರ್ತವೆ, ಫೈಟೋಪ್ಲಾಂಕ್ಟಾನ್, ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಟ್ರೀಸ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಹರ್ಬಿವರಸ್, ಝೂ ಪ್ಲಾಂಕ್ಟಾನ್, ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೂಪರ್, ಕೌ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಡ್ಸ್, ಫಿಶ್, ಉಲ್ಫ್, ಈ ಥರ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾವೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾನ್, ಲಯನ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಟ್ರಾ. ಸೊ ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ವೇರ್ ದ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ coming. A specific place where the organism is coming is called trophic level. Primary, secondary, tertiary, like that different trophic levels are there. So this is energy flow through different tropics level. The first trophic level, second trophic level, third trophic level, fourth trophic level. And every trophic level from the sunlight, the energy is going to be transferred in the first, second, third, fourth, like that. Energy is going to be transferred. Certain amount of heat will get lost at every tropic level. Here also heat will get lost, here also heat will get lost, here also heat will get lost. So heat loss will happen at every tropic level, and energy is going to be passed from one tropic level to other tropic level. See, amount of energy decreases at every tropic level. From producers to the top carnivorous, energy flows go on decreasing. When organism dies, its dead biomass, detritus, it is an energy source for the decomposers. This is the dead animal. These are the dead leaves, which are the energy source for the decomposers. Every tropic level energy transfer from lower producers to top consumer go on decreasing. Energy flow go on decreasing, remember. So organism at each tropic level depends on those at the lower tropic level for the energy. That means here for energy, primary consumers depends on the primary producers, secondary consumers depends on the primary consumers, tertiary consumers depends on the secondary consumers for the energy. Means every organism depends on the lower tropic level for their energy need. See, amount of living material in each tropic level at given time is called standing crop. So not all the energy from each tropic level will going to be transferred. From producer, not all the energy will get transferred into primary consumers, then secondary consumers. Certain amount of energy retain in every tropic level. That means in producer some amount of energy will retain, That means in primary consumer some amount of energy will retain, secondary consumer some amount of energy will be retained. That retain energy in every trophic level is called standing crop. Is called what? Standing crop. Standing crop is measured by biomass or mass of the living organism or number in per unit area. Standing crop means if suppose 10% of energy is passing, every trophic level energies go on passing. Not all the energy is passing into the every trophic level. Certain amount of energy which remain at each trophic level. That means in producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, like that. It is retained certain amount of energy. And that retaining energy is called standing crop, or which is measured in terms of biomass or number in unit area. Biomass of species measured in fresh or dry weight. Biomass of every standing crop means what is the biomass of that plant is measured by its dry weight or fresh weight. Dry weight is more accurate, exact mass of the body which remains constant. So dry weight, remember, dry weight of the every plant, every animal remains constant. And number of trophic levels in GFC is restricted as it follows: 10% of law. That means only 10% of energy trophic transferred to each trophic level from lower trophic level. Only 10% of energy will get transferred from lower trophic level to the higher trophic level. That means number of trophic level in GFC is restricted as it follows: 10% law. 10% law in the GFC, grazing food chain. Every trophic level can pass the food or energy to the next trophic level. Only 10% energy will going to be passed. Remaining energy retained in that trophic level, that is referred as a standing crop. That means flow of energy from lower to higher trophic level go on decreasing. So in this way we have studied here the process called as decomposition. Okay, decomposition we have studied, as well as we have studied about what is that energy flow in the ecosystem we have studied. Energy flow in the ecosystem we have studied. Okay, so in next class we will go for the process called as, next concepts called ecological succession as well as ecological pyramids in the ecosystem, that we have to learn. Okay, so in the next video we shall see that next point.